Welcome to episode 860 of the Wrestling Consumer Podcast. Tonight, I recap Money in the Bank from Toronto, Canada tonight, where the contracts went to Drew McIntyre and Tiffany Stratton, and one of them has already been cashed in. We also got John Cena announcing a year-long retirement. So, according to the press conference, John Cena will begin his final run of wrestling in green competition overall for WWE for the near future. And the plan is to go and do a full year of a limited schedule of matches where he'll finally wrestle for the last time in a lot of major cities. And most likely he'll be on pay-per-view, the premium live events, through WrestleMania season next year into December of 2025. So he'll be around. That's going to be taking up a good void that I must say that for the WWE right now, they really do need John Cena in that place. When you've heard me talk so much about the issues with the roster and the lack of depth or character development they've done so far. Now, we know that John Cena has always been very good for helping certain stars get over and really having feuds that will really help bolster the career of certain stars, which is what he's always been able to do. Now, that's one thing we're going to get out of this, first of all. The other part is that to have him out there, I mean, obviously, people are going to want to go and see this tour, this run through. It's kind of where Sting did the same thing, you know, going back to 2022, the end of 2022, and then saying, okay, at Revolution is my final match, and going to that. Like, we kind of felt like what was going along with that. Ryan Danielson's kind of giving us that kind of feel as well, without any particulars that he said so far. But for John Cena, it's a big deal for him to go ahead and take some time to work the schedule, take himself aback from Hollywood because he's been working so hard in Hollywood, and it looks like for him, he's getting a little bit of a break. He'll still work on some projects, but no movies, it looks like right now. It's just looking like he might have, you know, we don't know what's in his schedule right now, if Peacemaker's still going to be a thing or what content's going to be out there for him to go and produce or work on. Obviously, commercials he could do. He could be doing, he's doing commercials right now. And there's probably some other campaigns he could be working on as well. But that helps fill a void on that main event side. Now, John Cena doesn't necessarily need to be, you know, part of the fixture of, you know, being in the title picture anywhere. That doesn't need to be him either. I mean, if he wants to go and do that, that's fine. But for him, it's a main event match that you get now more or less featured on every pay-per-view and on a select different number of TV shows because he's going to be around for the start of Raw on Netflix. So that, the SmackDown on USA, all the changes are being done. That helps a lot for WWE itself. They need him now at this moment. And then, you know, when things come back next year, WrestleMania season, The Rock will be back once again. Roman Reigns will be back. So in that respect, that's something to look forward to. But that only really resolve some of the situation they have right now because it's still, the youth is still the track of who they have right now. They're trying to work on to build up. And they did some things with some of the stars tonight where some of the, I would like to say, pillars within the NXT Black and White that they wanted to go ahead and push up and try to bring up to the forefront. Well, they used some of them tonight and there were some interesting ways of booking them. Now, first of all, you go to, let's start off with the Money in the Bank ladder match for the men. So Andrade, Carmelo Hayes, Chad Gable, Jey Uso, LA Knight. I felt like the entrances take forever. Just saying. And Jey Uso, once again, still not a factor. LA Knight, not a factor. The thing is, we get several stars here. And Jey Uso and LA Knight, they get a pop, they get the entrance, and that's all they get. But the booking for them in general, how many times do they win significant matches? Have they won titles? Nothing. They're just there just because they get a pop. But they're not taken seriously by the booking. The booking doesn't show anything serious about them. So if they're just out there as crowd favorites, and it doesn't matter if they win or lose, okay. But that's what they're making it look like right now. That's what they did. Therefore, they go into this, and now Drew McIntyre wins, which was the prediction I had. You know, I even heard this, you know, throughout the week. The scenario would be use the contract right now because this is the hat trick. This is CM Punk's hat trick. So, and this has been booked very well. Listen, it's one of the best things being booked right now in WWE at this moment is CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. So you get the screw job at WrestleMania, right? After Drew McIntyre wins the title off of Seth Rollins, Money in the Bank briefcase cashed in on him. Then Clash at the Castle, the title shot. He gets screwed over on that. And then Drew McIntyre gets retribution on CM Punk in Chicago. And then CM Punk comes back tonight as the Money in the Bank ladder match is done. Drew McIntyre gets the win there, cashes in, loses, and now CM Punk has made Drew McIntyre break. He's broken mentally. So now he's out of it. And they did a whole thing in the post show where Drew McIntyre is just frantically going around trying to look for CM Punk. So that's now a fever pitch going into SummerSlam. They need to make the match for SummerSlam right now. They've already put so much heat into this, they can't wait anymore. So come Cleveland, come SummerSlam in a few weeks, let's book and get ready for CM Punk Drew McIntyre as a main event, a co-main event in the match. Most likely Sissoko Sikoa and Cody Rhodes, also main event in that SummerSlam coming up next month. Like that's what we got to have coming up next. I don't see where they're going to go anywhere else after that. So let's just get that going and off the ground and be done with it. And for them, they got 4 weeks to do it. 4 weeks from tonight to get that all set. Now, we already know that most likely we'll have Solo and Cody. We'll have CM Punk Drew McIntyre. Then we already have Damian Priest and Gunther. Bayley and Nia Jax already locked in for the World Heavyweight Championship and the WWE Women's Championship now. Damian Priest retains. And so Damian Priest continues to hold on. And anything with Judgment Day right now, it's on the back burner. Like they obviously have a riff right now. Finn Balor's not necessarily in good graces, but that's where they're at with that storyline. Okay, so we got all that figured out. That's 4 matches right now set up for SummerSlam, pretty much. Good set. That's all fine and well and good. All right. And as for the ladder matches, yes, listen, they're good. You know what to expect in ladder matches. I'm not going to expect anything new or extra special in these matches anyway. They're grueling. The intent of how hard it is to win a Money in the Bank ladder briefcase, Money in the Bank briefcase in the first place is difficult, and that's what he wanted to do with this. 16 minutes for the Drew McIntyre match. So they wanted to make it where Drew McIntyre got done in pretty quick fashion for a Money in the Bank ladder match. Well, they were both 16 minutes, actually. You know, it was interesting. The women's match was also 16 minutes, just the way that was kind of booked. So it didn't go overly long. And that was the one thing. It was the main event that went long, and that was, 6-man tag, 24 minutes. But everything else was just within a certain set. So the reason for the Money in the Bank ladder match of the men, the use of it, I didn't expect anything special that could be booked with Carmelo Hayes holding it or Andrade. Not even a factor. Chad Gable possibly, but again, there's just so much there. If Chad Gable would have won that, I would have really had a hard problem because of the Wyatt 6 issue, the Alpha Academy issues, too many other things going on. And then all of a sudden he gets that briefcase. Like it's just too much going on with that. I don't want to deal with that at all. Jey Uso would have been, again, sentimental favorite, but again, he gets the LA Knight spot from last year where he gets close and then nothing. And that's what they wanted to do. So the booking for that's works for me. I see why they were going to do it. It was predictable, but the way they did it was exactly the right way to do it. No problem there. Braun Breaker falls to Sami Zayn for the IC title. So first time out, clean finish, and Sami Zayn in the storyline that is, somehow, some way he still wins. He's still the underdog, but somehow he finds a way to win. They always tell that story. I'm fine with this ending because of the fact that Braun Breaker doesn't need to be awarded with the belt right away. I could have seen them doing it, but I mean, Braun Breaker, he gets in here, and now they have this set, so now he takes the hit. It's a loss he takes. And if I'm right, that's the first loss he's taken on. He's the first loss he's taken already on the main roster, right? Or has he taken any other losses? I don't know. But right now, that's it. Okay, he takes a step down. What's next for him? Does he get some heat back on Sami Zayn and they do it again? Because, are they going to go one-off with him? Is that what the plan is? I don't know. But that's something they could consider. But it doesn't make much difference to me. Sami Zayn's a non-factor here. And for Chad Gable not to be a part of this, still, it's like, okay, what do you do with Chad Gable coming up now? I mean, what's set for him? He doesn't get the briefcase. So what do they do with him going back into things right now with Alpha Academy, with Wyatt Six, with his thing with Sami Zayn? Like, what do we do next? What do you do next with Chad Gable? Because you give him so much time, they got to figure out what to do with him next. Jey Uso, nothing planned for him. And I feel like with Jimmy being on the back burner, still being injured, I guess, legitimately, and then Jay, my guess that, those two are on the back burner until we get to Roman Reigns returning, which right now, that's not going to happen right away. I don't see that with everything set up right now, or Roman Reigns returns, I don't see that coming up right now. I don't think they need to bring him back right now. I think they could wait. The Bloodline storyline needs some time to work out. That needs some more time to work out, but we'll get to that in a moment. So like I said, Damian Priest, a lot of stipulations they put into this match. And now Rollins can no longer challenge for the World Heavyweight title as long as Damian Priest is champion, which is the Cody thing, right? What Cody did over in AEW with the TNT title. And then Rollins would have made Priest leave Judgment Day as a stipulation. But Priest is still there. They're going to continue with the storyline with Liv and Dom, and if Rhea comes back, and Finn has outs with Damian Priest, and okay, I mean, you would think that probably Judgment Day could probably get themselves back together now because they all have belts. They all have belts, and everything should be like harmony except for Liv and Dom, just to figure out what's going on with that and get that rectified and solved. So they got that set. Next. And I mean, there's not much more to say about the match, except for the fact there was a botch. So the plan of the Falcon Arrow, and then when he gets to move on, and whatever it was, there was the back and forth, the reversal, and then Seth gets the pin, but Damian Priest did not even lift the arm up. Like it was legitimately the referee counted 3. And nothing else. So it was like a complete blind shot of we're supposed to have had Drew McIntyre come out before the 3 count. That was what was supposed to have happened. Well, they missed that. These little attentions to detail, it's important here. And they're missing on these things right now. That's a major botch. That's a timing issue that went wrong. Somebody didn't do anything back there to figure that out. So it looked bad. And Damian Priest looks like an idiot where he doesn't even come up. And now, look, you can go to Seth Rollins right now has legitimate reason to go ahead and, go after the belt again. So we don't even have to go ahead and follow that stipulation. And if I'm Seth Rollins on Raw on Monday night, I would say, listen, I'm not following that stipulation. There's no way that referee could have possibly said that you had your arm up. There's no way. You didn't get up off the 3 count. That's positive. That's what it is. So what you got to do now is, I don't know. They made it to a triple threat. And I'd imagine that Damian Priest and Seth Rollins get another shot at each other. I guess you're going to have to do that. But what are you going to do? Make it a 3-way with Gunther? I mean, do you let Seth Rollins stay on the back burner during SummerSlam? My guess is they'll have to go ahead and, they're going to have to retcon this. They're going to have to resolve it. And, Gunther's got a title shot. But I mean, what would make sense to me is you include Seth Rollins in the mix. Seth Rollins is going to put a damper on Damian Priest and Gunther's title run, their title match. So make it a 3-way. What else are you going to do? And then what you can do is, if you want to protect Gunther, Seth beats Damian. And then somewhere we get the Judgment Day starting to fizzle out at SummerSlam. I don't know what you do. Because you could do that, and then Rhea Ripley could come back, and then the whole thing goes to shit. I could see that storyline going through. But Seth Rollins' pin fall, and that should have been accepted as a 3 count, that has to be addressed. People saw it. It was clear as day. They're going to have to address it on TV Monday night because that was a botch. They're going to have to go ahead and rewrite that. whatever they're going to do. And there's really nothing to build up the heat for Damian Priest and Gunther anyway. It's just like, okay, this match is due to Gunther, and Gunther's going to be the babyface. No, we need Seth Rollins to be coming in here like a monkey wrench. He needs to come in here and just disrupt this feud right here. This title match has to be disrupted by Seth Rollins, and use this as the caveat. That's what has to be done. One thing I'm definitely happy about is that Tiffany Stratton wins the Money in the Bank ladder match, so she has the contract. She'll be the one that gets the long run with the briefcase. I am totally cool with that. That works for her. Hope it's an success for her. I hope it works out great. And again, she was going up against Io Sky, Chelsea Green, Leo Victoria, Naomi, and Zoe Stark, who I did not put any kind of capital into thinking that either of those other 5 superstars were going to go ahead and beat Tiffany, or they were going to be put into a good storyline where the Money in the Bank briefcase was going to be used for them. I did not. Absolutely not the Zoe Stark. I guess I could have seen Lyra Victoria. Listen, they did a good job of the match. Chelsea Green taking the last chance to almost take the briefcase off the hook and then taking the double table shot. That looked tremendous. Listen, very good match between them all. It was a very good Money in the Bank ladder match for the women. Better than the men's. So, yeah, no question there. They did it. And Tiffany winning tonight, I'm happy for her, because if there was anybody out of this new crop of stars coming fresh out of NXT from the draft, that's what I wanted. Like, I've never been high on Lyra Victoria, never been high on Braun Breaker. Just, he needs more time, because WWE made the mistake on how to build him up. They didn't do enough for him in NXT. They did not. You could have had a fully fleshed character by now, but Braun Breaker is one-dimensional at this moment. He is not that far from Ryback or Goldberg, or Braun Strowman even for that matter. He's just there. And sure, you can keep mentioning the nepotism, the fact that he's a Steiner, but he doesn't even kind of give that kind of feel to it. There's just something there that's missing, and that's a mistake on them. The kid's got it, man, but they just don't have it right for him, and that's a mistake. And now, yeah, IC title is strong. Sami Zayn's a strong champion, so there we go. But Tiffany Stratton right now, I mean, they finally give her something good to work with. And this is normal for certain stars to not get the rub they should be getting normally when it comes to, if they're getting started off. And listen, like Liv Morgan kind of got this run. Like when she got the briefcase, or when Alexa Bliss won the briefcase. Like, it's just certain stars, the briefcase does give them what is necessary to get them over. So the briefcase now here with Tiffany Stratton works well. And honestly, okay, whatever they decided to do with Bayley and Nia Jax, I mean, if Bayley's still holding on to that belt, Tiffany can go back after her, or they can have somebody else. But it's like, no matter what, there's any time they want to do something with that. Could Tiffany Stratton go after Liv Morgan's belt? I would love to see that. But they're probably not going to go that route. I mean, Liv Morgan right now feels like a heel to me, but Tiffany's also a heel. But I think Tiffany and Liv would work really well together. For some reason, I think there would be just like a matchup of who's got a more inflated ego. But Liv's got too many other things working on her plate anyway. No matter what Tiffany Stratton needed right now was this briefcase to help move her up, because she's got the most upside right now of everybody got on that main roster that has been brought in from the draft or from NXT call-ups. Not Lyra Victoria, not Carmelo Hayes, not Braun Breaker, Tiffany Stratton. Mark my words. She's the star right now. She is it. And so give her this spot, let her move up, and let's see what we can do with this. For the main event, Bloodline, if Solo Sikoa could have 2 more Jacob Fatus, and that was the Bloodline, man, I would be all in. I would be completely invested in Bloodline right now as a formidable foe against the original Bloodline of Roman Reigns and the Usos. I do. I really feel that. And I think the most important thing to do right now is that Jacob Fatu being the most, enthusiastic and the most, interactive with Solo Sikoa right now is the right move. Jacob Fatu, yes. They don't want to give him too much time out there. Like, listen, Jacob Fatu could go ahead and showcase tonight, and people were saying it too. Jacob Fatu should have had a few more moves. Absolutely. But I think that the guys in the back there, they know enough. Listen, if Jacob Fatu got a chance to go ahead and roll, I mean, he's been a long time singles wrestler. I mean, he has done stuff, Samoan SWAT team he did with Juicy Finau and all this, and, Lance Hanawali. But listen, I mean, for Jacob Fatu, his star power has been as a single star. Like, the most important thing I need for the bloodline, especially when it comes to Solo Sikoa, what's going to happen is, like, if we're going to get Solo and Cody at SummerSlam, then we need Jacob Fatu to take on Cody or Randy Orton or Kevin Owens. And Jacob Fatu needs to be winning. Because right now, Jacob Fatu in the enforcer role is exactly where he needs to, is a good place for him to be. Totally. I would have preferred him not in the group. I would have preferred him on the other side with Roman Reigns, but that's me nitpicking. Right now, Jacob Fatu is in the right spot as enforcer, because that's the spot where you move up and motivate. Like, that's where Solo Sikoa did best. And they protected him because, for the most part, he didn't lose. He beat John Cena. He was beating most of his people. He rarely had a loss. And that was the most important thing for Solo Sikoa, was to keep him strong. Now Jacob Fatu must keep him strong. Like, I would prefer Tama Tonga Tongaloa to be the goofs that have to go ahead and be the stooges and cause the disruptions, cause the disqualifications, cause the plunder that will allow Solo to win. That's their roles. That's what they need to be. Kind of like how they use the Usos, but, Tama Tonga and Tongaloa are not the Usos. It's just a different story. But what Jacob Fatu's role is right now, as enforcer, if they would have given him more time and more work to go out there, they would have let him go freewheeling. It would have been much different. We didn't get a flying somersault top rope, but that's okay. At least we got him up there going top rope anyway. That's okay. And he went out there and got a little bit wild. Good. But we need Jacob Fatu out there in more singles matches to help bring the bloodline up to speed, to really solidify them as formidable once the bloodline comes back to reclaim, once the original bloodline comes back. So Solo Sikoa needs to act like Jacob Fatu is like his right-hand man. Like, I see, the whole thing is that whole right-hand man thing, that's not Tama Tonga. It shouldn't have been him. What needs to happen is that the bloodline needs to actually go ahead and make a point where Solo needs to go ahead and start issuing that Jacob Fatu is his right hand. That's his trusted out. That's his true trusted, partner in crime. His trusted soldier right there. That's what should happen. Listen, Jacob Fatu is the one that enthusiastically, he gets out there, he's motivated, he's excitement, he's full of vim and vigor, and he's the one that put the beads on Solo Sikoa, as opposed to the others. So what needs to happen now is that Solo Sikoa needs to do what Roman Reigns was doing, because he no longer has Paul Heyman as the punching dummy. So without that, we need Solo Sikoa to start getting more narcissistic, much more controlling. So he needs to start enforcing his will, and he needs to start berating the losing Tama Tonga and Tongaloa. He needs to tell them that those two need to start shaping up. And let Jacob Fatu be the new favorite, because he's the newest part of the group, and he's the one that's going to excel. And then Jacob Fatu, in the same way Solo Sikoa moved up, Jacob Fatu can then excel. That is the way to go on this storyline right now. Before we get the bloodlines to feud with each other, Jacob Fatu needs to take advantage of this enforcer role, and Solo Sikoa's role in the bloodline needs to be he's cracking the whip on the Tongan brothers and showing favor, currying favor to Jacob Fatu. If they do that, then I think the bloodline storyline is going to be salvaged, and they're going to have something to work with moving forward. Now, the other part of the component is, do they get a wise man? Do we get that coming up on Friday? If we get that as well, man, that all makes sense to me. Finally, the bloodline will be where it needs to be. But I think Jacob Fatu listen, you couldn't go into tonight's match and make it where it was Solo, Tama Tonga Tongaloa, I wouldn't have believed that they would have beat Cody, Kevin, and Randy. No way. But Jacob Fatu is the missing link. He is the major factor here in this storyline right now, in that group of 6. Jacob Fatu means everything. And I hope this company realizes how much of a gold mine they got in him. Look, I watched a lot of his matches, Contra Unit over in the MLW. I mean, listen, him against Josh Alexander at Ric Flair's last match. Look, and I didn't even get close to watching his stuff in the Indies. It's just it. Keep that guy in that spot right there. Your Samoan werewolf. Keep him right there. Have him be curried favor. Then we got something. We're going to get somewhere. Now, as for getting back to Cena and the fact that he's going to be coming back. So, listen. I mean, the timing is everything, but like, what needs to happen right now is that this is a spot where John Cena is going to be coming in here. Who's going to be the spot right now that's going to get to work with him? Who's going to get to have the matches? Or is he going to just have tried and true opponents? Is it going to be Randy one more time and run with him? Or is it going to be Kevin Owens one more time and run with him? No, I don't think so. Or Cody? No, I don't think so. I think John Cena, again, he was in that open challenge where he was U.S. champion on the last run he had was going on with the company. And I think, for John Cena's sake, he likes to enhance the talent. So he got to work with Austin Theory or Grayson Wallers or, that makes sense to me. Okay. Because younger stars that we can get into this that can help get a rub off of him. And I think it's important. If John Cena can do some of that in the last run of his ride here, the next, 16 months? Or 18 months? If he can do something like that, where he can go and bring us to a level where certain stars will get the rub on him. And who's going to step up to be in that role? Because there are some people on that roster that we know they're not ever going to be at this level. But for the ones that are given the option, the position, a possibility of working with John Cena in a program or in a match, choose wisely who he's working with, who's going to be in the ring with him, who's going to cut promo to promo with. That's got to be understood, because that's an important role for him right now to be in there. And I hope he will help to somewhat enhance the talent in there, because again, we've been seeing him coming in with matches where he's been, not his best. He's been struggling. He has not been winning all his matches. His match with Solo Sikoa, extremely important. Those kind of things really help out. And I think that really helped for Solo Sikoa to get over. So now we're set here. We need some more stars to come out of all this. But we also need, I'm going to just tell you that there are some stars out there that just do not need to be getting positions of any spotlights that are being taken by somebody else. Listen. So for Grayson Waller and Austin Theory to drop the tag team titles to DIY, listen, I know that Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano accomplished wrestlers. Like I said, I enjoyed Tommaso Ciampa's run in the Embassy and Ring of Honor. Him being, the TV champion and enjoying his role there. I wasn't so big on his thing, NXT run and Goldie and all this stuff. I'm like, that's okay, he's fine. But Tommaso Ciampa is also like, and Johnny Gargano, they're not spring chickens. They're on the other end they're the later part of the career. But the thing is, they're not going to get another push. They're not going to get any singles push to like any main event level. I don't see that. But they're getting a nice cush job while they're here anyway, because of the NXT favoritism from Triple H and Shawn Michaels. I get that. I see nothing from Lyra Valkyria to make me feel like, some of the opportunities she gets, gets herself close in the Queen of the Ring, only to fall short to Nia Jax, or getting a Money in the Bank qualifying match and winning it, and getting the Money in the Bank ladder match and getting a chance to go after the briefcase. The Chera push has been there. It has not flourished for anything yet at all. Alba Fire, a la Dawn, they're an afterthought. After they beat Jake Cargill and Bianca Belair. Afterthought. Nobody cares. No one cares. Listen. And that's the part that's going to be done as well. By the way, if John Cena is going to work with anybody right now, I mean, I think Logan Paul's probably due to work with John Cena. If you got somebody to work with right now coming up, that would be one, right? The U.S. title. I mean, I can see that. But again, Logan Paul is there. He's high profile and only there for only certain times. But again, they'll probably have a match set up for him at SummerSlam because it's going to be, not too far from the hometown where he's at. Things like that. But there are some stars, some roster spots that need to be cleared up. I'm sorry. The fact that we get tag team title holders like Alba Fire and Aladona Alba Fire and Ice, as Vince Russo calls them, or we get DIY as tag team champs. Come on. Or JD McDonough holding onto a belt with Finn Balor. These are some booking decisions I'm bewildered by, and I'm just concerned. It just doesn't make sense. But I like to see some roster spots get filled up with some other talent. And, maybe we'll see something out of Heat Wave tomorrow because that's coming up. Maybe something will come out of that I'll see something better out of some stars. We already know there's some stars we're going to be looking at, obviously. Trick Williams, he's got a title match. Roxanne Perez got a title match. So tomorrow we have that. I'm not going to do a post show for that. If I bring up anything about it, I'll talk about it on Wednesday. But the matches so far for that. So Carmen Petrovic, Ariana Grace, GC Jean, Jasmine Nix in a tag team match on the pre-show. Nathan Frazier and Axiom will defend the tag team titles against Chase University's Andre Chase and Duke Hudson. Kalani Jordan will defend the North American Championship against Sol Ruca. Obafemi and Wes Lee. Last chance match for the NXT North American Championship, the men's side. If Femi wins, Lee can never challenge for the title for as long as Femi is champion. Lola Vice will take on Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's title, and Javon Evans, Ethan Page, Shawn Spears, Fatal 4-Way against Trick Williams, the champion, in the NXT Championship match there. So if I had to pick in those matches, I'll take JC and Jasmine to go over. I'll take Chase University to become new NXT Tag Team Champions. I'll take Kalani Jordan to retain over Sol Ruca. I'll take Obafemi to retain over Wesley. I'll take Roxanne Perez to retain over Lola Vice. And Trick Williams is not losing that belt. But like I said, the title holders right now, the North American title holders, your singles title holders, those 4 names, yeah, keep an eye on those. Those are obviously the names to look at to be called up somewhere down the line. And, for Triple H and the team there, if they see some of these folks that are not passing the muster, you just can't keep holding on to them and have them just be mid and not get any kind of draw or any kind of pop at all or any kind of response from the crowd. You got to drop them. New talent comes in, see if we get something new. You got to make this assembly line. You have to do that. And honestly, you got to develop some characters for these folks. Something more is going to happen with them. We got to do that. It can't just be basic every time. Well, let's see what they do. But anyway, we'll see how Heatwave goes tomorrow. I didn't get a chance to go and talk about NXT or AEW because I know AEW, MJF and AEW. That tonight, MJF was going to address the fact that he attacked Daniel Garcia, and I never got a chance to see what was going on, but I got to watch Collision to see what was the fallout from that. So we'll check that out coming up too, among other things. But obviously, Money in the Bank was the focus tonight. Now let's do it with this. Come back this Wednesday for another Wrestling Gets Real podcast because wrestling needs us.